Hey everybody, welcome back to Hear Our Voices. Sorry about my voice, I've been kind of sick. A little stuff going around, as y'all might know. This is a podcast where we tell stories, give resources, and change the narrative of homelessness. And I'm your host, Khadijah D. Welcome back. So today we don't have a guest, but it's okay. It is okay. I have some things to get out the way. And some of the things is please follow us on our social media platform. We definitely need you to come out and support us. We have a TikTok. We have, what else do we have? We don't have a Facebook. We might get one soon. Again, we used to have Facebook, but not anymore. Sad. And follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. And we have a Threads, which is basically Instagram going over there. So it's not like you have to follow the Threads. But if you could follow the Instagram, that would be wonderful. So, as you might know, Commissioner Molly Park, well, Molly to me, um, I have worked on with her with a couple of projects, just a couple of things that I've done before in homelessness. And at this point, you know that she has resigned. And Erin, Dalton, I want to make sure I say her name properly, is taking over that position. Molly, you will be missed. And thank you for what you have done. And thank you for the time to understand certain things. I give everybody grace, no matter what position they are in. Unless they're just, bad people, then, you get my grace, but, what can I do? But Molly as a person, like, I've just heard her name and saying that the work she may have done or may not have done. I personally have met her at different conferences or different projects she has worked on. And I would say, in my personal opinion, she had tried her best. I think people sometimes give her a lot more credit in something going wrong than the stuff going right, just because they don't even know where sometimes the information is funneled from. Some things that she deal with, it comes from the federal government. She really can't. You can push back, but it's just a job that she's doing. I think when people are in these kind of positions, sometimes it's so hard. Even if you don't agree with it, you have to push it through. And it's like, do I lose my job, or do I just do what I'm told? I think it's a very hard position to be in, to be honest. And hopefully, the person who's getting it now can do the job that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be rough. It really is. It's really gonna be rough. I don't know. I give everybody grace. I'm not sure what Mandani is doing or what he's focusing on. It seems like in my eyes, a lot of the stuff is like people in health and mostly people who do like street homeless, who knows more about that. The thing is, I said this on my personal channel, that I always want to make sure street homeless or any kind of homelessness in general is seen. The thing about a street homeless is the thing that you see the most, to be honest. You don't see the other invisible people. And in this time, this invisible people is anybody who's in shelter, not just families. Like if you know, this podcast is all about families. It's all about families in shelter who went through path, or just families who went through shelter, or eviction, just any housing insecurity type of thing, right? But the truth is, right now, New York, in the crisis that we are in, a couple of crises I could say, I'm sorry for those people who lost their life. I'm sorry for the families that they came from. My heart and condolences go out to those families. I want to say that. And street homeless is a problem. I don't like seeing encampments. I don't like to see people on the train. That's not something I like to see, but it's happening. And it can be overwhelming when you have to go in a train and you have to see the cart is full of people who are homeless. And when I get on a train like that, first thing, I move to the next cart, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Also, because I feel like I'm invading their home. I feel like an invader. So I personally don't like to be in their space. God forbid somebody gets up and it's like, oh my God, they don't realize where they are and something happens, or they just feel away and they feel like I don't want people to feel like I'm judging them either, and I'm not judging you. But it's just, it feels uncomfortable for them, and I feel like, well, honestly, I don't know if they feel uncomfortable for them. I'm just saying they feel uncomfortable for me in per se. So I could understand why a lot of things are street homeless, coming out, because that's what we see, and all the deaths and stuff like that. But I'm not sure what's happening. I could say that, right? I want us, anybody who's in this homeless population, to be able to get help and not being shunned in a way. And I feel like people in the shelter are kind of being shunned, and I feel like they're not getting as much help as they're supposed to get. Some things are happening. I could say it's good. You know what I'm saying? Some things I see, but other things is like is not doing to the best of the ability. And I'm not sure it's because the people in the positions just don't know what to do with people in the shelter, and they feel like maybe that's their home, and that's not their home. They don't want to be there. The conditions of a lot of shelters, I think Mandani honestly to pop up at some of these shelters and really go look and see what's inside. There's a women's shelter on Nordstrom if you want to go to this one. I don't know. I told people that the bathrooms were all broken down. I want to say on the second floor. Hopefully by now they're fixed. I told them this a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully it's done. But a whole women's shelter floor of bathrooms were out of commission. I don't think that's right. I don't think people talk enough about it. Like, people, I feel like in my circle talk about it. People outside of the circles, I feel like is clueless on what's actually happening in these shelters. People are getting assaulted. Workers are telling people in the shelter, if you could do stuff for me, I'll get your paperwork in. That should never be happening. Why should somebody at a vulnerable state in their life have to go through stuff like this? So I'm saying to Erin, Dalton, hopefully I'm saying your name right. I think I am though. That you're coming into a space was much different from where you are coming from Pittsburgh. And I'm happy that you got those 200-something people off the street, from what the article says, right? I'm happy that you did that for your people, but New York City is a different beast. The population is different. The population is more diverse. The population is huge. People are in crevices. You would never think a person would be in a crevice in New York City. One thing, our people are going to know how to hide, especially if it's street homeless, hide if they need to hide away from certain things. People in the shelter, sometimes, even if you want to talk to them, if you do that in their I guess, temporary home, you could say, people will see that who work there, and it'll become a problem. So if you really want to know the answers, come to people like me who are advocates, who talk to people outside of their home, or who goes in the shelters and talk to people. And how I've been to a shelter just recently, literally yesterday, we did a game night, and the young ladies there said they love their shelter. And I love to hear stuff like that. I like to hear when we go places and they said, they don't love being in shelter, but they love this shelter because they've been to multiple ones, and to them this is the best one they've been in. I love hearing that. But I don't like going to a shelter or being in a shelter and people are telling me this is happening, that is happening. I have emails from people about what's happening to them, and I feel bad because I honestly cannot help them. I could just do this podcast and hope whoever hears this can use my words and help get the system to be better. That's all I can hope, right? People are going to underestimate you. Personally, I don't know you, right? People are going to underestimate you. But if you really want to prove them wrong, and if you do have a good intention to change homelessness in New York, one, if you don't know enough about it, you need people to teach you. That's point blank. You can read all you want to read, and you can have the big CEOs tell you all you want to tell you. You need to ask people who are formerly homeless in the system and the system to help you out. I'm not saying, again, we have all the answers. I'm not saying that, right? But I'm saying that we have lived through the system, so we know how it works, and we know what we would like to see better. And the people who are in there right now are telling us what they also want to see better. So you're getting it from the horse's mouth, basically. I know you cannot change the system overnight. I know that. I'm not gonna say, oh my God, you come here and you have to change it in 3 months. That would be ridiculous. Maybe in Pittsburgh that could work. That maybe could because it's so tiny. But for New York City, for being so big, but being so small at the same time, that is not going to be realistic. I would say 3 to 5 years. If you really put the work in, roll up your sleeve, and I know you're not going to be in that position that long. What I'm saying, roll up your sleeves and, get it. Work with the people you have. Get some advocates who've actually been in the shelter, not just people who just want to be an advocate, an ally advocate. Get a person who's actually a lived, experienced person, whether it's me or other people. There's many people out here who wants to see the system get better. And we're tired of y'all building new shelters, to be honest. We're tired that this money pit of a shelter, y'all just keep on building more shelters, more shelters, more shelters, more shelters. Y'all building all these apartments. People, real New Yorkers, cannot actually afford or live in. If they do, they have to have like 3 roommates just to survive. No, you need to build enough spaces for families. These are the things, the solutions we want from you. If you're building, if these buildings are taking money and saying we're gonna do affordable housing, and a small part of it is affordable, only a small part of it is affordable, right? They build it so fast they don't build it properly. So by the time you get in there 3-4 months with your child, that place is breaking down. And they don't build enough spaces big enough for a 2-person family. 2-person family is not that big, but they should not be living in a shoebox. Come on, if it's a couple, sure. But if it's a person and a child, them child loves to run up and down. They need space. I'm not saying give them a whole big floor like a penthouse suite, but they need space for their children to be happy, to be safe. Come on, we have to be realistic with these things. There's so much to take care of. There's so much to do. We need to also work on the discrimination, the voucher discrimination, and you need to get a full team. Apparently they have a team where they could, they sued somebody, I want to say a couple of years ago, or I think a couple of years ago, and they got that money because they, as they say, get out the bad actors of people who say they're going to take vouchers, but they're really not taking it. We need to have a 100-man team, at least, to go out to these landlords and act like they're voucher holders. And when they start acting up, guess what we do? We give them fines. And those fines should go to the people who actually need more, go to people who actually need vouchers. Like, we say we don't have enough money for vouchers, but if we tax all those people and we fine all those people, you could put that money back into the voucher system, right? You could put it back into making more affordable. The way these people always lying and always blacklisting people who they don't want to get vouchers from, right? You could build a whole new building just for people with vouchers alone. I'm just saying, there's so much ways you could work around this and get money back. I know you said money is tight, but if you actually find these people, because they do it multiple times to multiple people, we can build things what's actually affordable. We also, studio should not be over a certain amount of price. Like, we need to have these terms and conditions properly. Like, these are things that we need to work on. And again, I know it's not going to happen this year. It might not happen next year, but these are things you need to work on to make sure that people are okay and feel secure in it. These are some of the things. These are not all the answers, but these are some of the answers. Shelters need to stop being made. And the shelters we do have need to be really inspected properly, and you can't tell them when you're coming for inspection. You need to pop up on them people. Because what happened, people are in there. Like, the funny thing, when I was in shelter, I never knew this was happening. I just stayed to myself. I don't mess with the staff like that. But people are telling me, this happened, I think, a month or 2 ago. Somebody told me, they know when the inspections are coming. They're telling people to get out. They know when it's coming, and they're acting good. It's like when you have a guest coming over. Usually, a good person with sense, when they have guests coming over, they don't just, have their house looking any other way. You do a little extra cleaning, extra whatever. You haven't probably cleaned the whole nicely before, but when guests is coming over, you make sure your medicine cabinet look good, because people gonna be looking at a medicine cabinet. Well, when I was young, I used to do that all the time. Go people's house and look at their medicine cabinet. Why not? As I got older, I stopped doing that, but as a child, I did all the time. So we need to pop up on them and make sure that the people's environments are safe and okay. That simple things like a microwave is working, the bathroom is working, lights are working, this is working. Somebody told me no, it wasn't somebody, it was a YouTuber I was watching. Apparently supposed to be, I think, a 4-person room, but they made it a 3-person room, but when the inspection came, they put an extra bed in it. It was like a whole foolishness. They are playing in our faces and getting our money to do a job they're not doing right. When a person doesn't do their job, they usually get fired. So while we still giving these people all this money to take care of the shelter system, or people in the shelter, they're not doing it properly. And if they're not, you also fine them. Granted, also some of the city owes some of these daggone places money too, but that's a different story. We're going too deep, right? So there's so much of these problems that we have to work through. And these are some of the solutions that I'm giving you. And I don't have all the solutions. And I might think of a new solution and I'll do a TikTok video and you'll hear what I have to say. If you want to take it and run with it and give me credit for it, I don't care. I just want you to solve the problem. That's it. So, New York City, City Hall, commissioner upon commissioner, this person and that person. I just want the people to be okay. I want the people to be safe. I want the people to not to be hungry. I want them to be clothed. I want them to be housed. I want their mental state to be good. And I hope that's some of the things that you have on your list that you want the people of New York to have. You are in a different place. Welcome to New York. New York. That's not good. Hold on. New York. That's a little bit better. I tell you I was sick, so don't come for me, please. But oh my gosh, that happened. But I'm just saying, we are not where you came from, and I know you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that. We have a lot of passion. The people who are advocating, we have a lot of passion. And some things might rub you the wrong way, is because a lot of us have went through the trauma of the city, and things not getting better. And by the time we get to you, who's new to the system of New York City, it's gonna be a lot. And I know it's gonna take you some time to also learn how the city runs. I'm not sure if you can scale up your program that you took off those 200 people off the street to our New York City numbers. That's great, but please, when you're doing that, don't forget there's a whole shelter population with a bunch of children. Children, the future of America, is in the shelter day by day, or doubled up in New York City, like houses. Like, please do not forget that homelessness is not the only thing. The only place you see is on the street. There are in buildings upon buildings upon buildings, private and city in New York City, who need your help to get out of the situation. And a lot of them are city workers. So let's think about that. A lot of them are city workers who don't get paid enough. We have to make it make sense. Okay? So that's my little tidbit. I wish you luck. I'm going to give you time. But I have to see some changes. I have to see you making a difference. And I know people are going to give you some problem because you know the new person on the block. Some people are going to say they're going to like you, and behind your back they're going to like, Some people are going to really want to work with you. Other people are like, oh my gosh, I come from a different state and want to come here and do what you... It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what you do and the results that you give. But people can say one thing in the beginning, and if you turn this city around in homelessness, I promise you, all they can say is good job. They're going to hate you for it. Some people are just going to be haters. But all they can say that you made a difference and you did a good job. So I am rooting for you. Some people are not rooting for you. Some people want to need a job. Again, I know it's going to take time for you to learn the system. I wish you the best. And I wish you an amazing ride. New York is different. We'll be there. We'll be there in protest if we have to. We want to see things change. That's it. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for being amazing. And I wish you good luck at your new job. Have a good year.